My name's Pat Burke. I'm the Program Manager for the Quaylink project, which is TasPort growth development in the Port of Devonport. The name Quaylink comes from the history of Devonport in that in the late 1800s, the eastern part of Devonport was called Torquay and the western part called Formby. And the name Quaylink refers to the history of the Devonport port and the important role it's played in the development of the northwest coast and also Tasmania. But also importantly that the Quaylink project in delivering new terminals for TasPorts major customers will be an important linkage to the mainland, and Devonport will be a gateway for passengers and freight coming into and out of the state. A large driver for the project was getting the port ready for the entry of the Lacoute, which is a ship that Sea Road is chartering. This is a 210 metre ship, which replaced the Sea Road Tamer, which was a 30-year-old ship, which was 147 metres in length. So it was a significant increase in capacity, but also the resulting infrastructure that was required to accommodate it. With that, the wharfs were designed for different ships in terms of the sort of berthing capacity and also the loads that it can take, and also the size and geometry of the fenders. So it was important that we could deliver upgrade fenders to suit the specific ships that are coming into port, but also considering sort of the long-term needs and vessels that are likely to operate in the port in the future. So being a structure that was over 50 years old, there was a degree of refurbishment that was required to the wharf structure itself, as well as the additional strengthening that was required to support these additional fenders. So the works under the wharf included hydro demolition and remediation of the wharf structure, which involved setting up platforms under the wharf, hydroblasting and repairing the existing wharf. And then the process on top of the wharf was to form up and construct new concrete beams which tied into the wharf, and then lifting precast elements in, which were then filled with concrete to mount the fenders on. So before constructing the new parts of the fenders, the existing fenders had to be demolished, and that included removing the old section of fender, the fender piles, timber fender piles, which were in pretty poor condition, and also concrete cutting elements of the fender beam. This had to be done in a staged manner so that a portion of the wharf was still available to be used for the daily berthing and unberthing of the ship. One of the key challenges with this project was obviously the compressed time frame and the need to have the wharf ready for the ship to come to berth. So one of the key innovations that was developed between the contractor and the designer and the owner's team was to utilise BIM technology, which is digital information transfer rather than hard copy drawings. And that enabled the design information to get to the contractor quicker. And with that came a lot of learning in terms of quality assurance and the like. And the parties worked really well together and collaboratively to deliver that technology, which ultimately enabled the project to be delivered on time. One of the key requirements was the berth remained operational during the works. And there are a number of tasks in the construction sequence that couldn't be done when the ship was at berth, and so they could only be done between 4 p.m. and 7 a.m. the next morning. And those tasks required a lot of planning from the team, the contractor and Sea Road to ensure they could be done on time and safely, and so the berth was ready to be operational again the next morning. So this was the first stage in the replacement and upgrade of infrastructure at Berth to East. So the subsequent stages are currently in design. And certainly the learnings around the workings in with the operation, working with Sea Road, working with the designers and contractors have been great lessons that will carry forward into the next stage of the early works projects and the broader Quaylink project itself.